What's good, YouTubers and YouTubettes? This is JB Sports, back again with another one. Heading out to the Ojos Loco Sports Bar to watch UFC 262 and the Luis Nery versus Brandon Figueroa bantamweight title matchup. It's going to be a good night of fighting tonight, man. Good night of combat sports tonight. Heading out, man. Gonna drink some beer, eat some wings, chill out with the homies, and watch some fights tonight. Now, one thing boxing needs to take a page out of the UFC playbook and make the fights happen with the best fighting the best. That's what they need to do. The UFC is doing that, and that's why they're doing good numbers, doing better numbers than boxing right now. You know, outside of what, Canelo Alvarez and Floyd Mayweather, they're doing better numbers than boxing. So boxing need to make the fights that we want to see. We want to see Errol Spence Jr. versus Terrence Bud Crawford. We want to see Tyson Fury versus Anthony Joshua. And the winner of that fight, Deontay Wilder. That's what we want to see. We didn't get, don't look like we're going to get this fight. We wanted to see this fight too last year, actually. We wanted to see Gervonta Tank Davis versus Vasily Lomachenko. That fight didn't happen. Mayweather said he wasn't ready, and then he had a beef with Gervonta Tank Davis. Gervonta Tank Davis wanted to spar him because he didn't like the moves that TMT Promotions was making. And then Floyd then got on TV talking about he wanted him to fight Vasily Lomachenko out of spite, I believe. But that fight never was seriously considered by TMT Promotion. They was trying to basically move him into another direction. You know, they want to see him fight Latino fighters with, you know, big names basically in the sport of boxing. Leo Santa Cruz, now he finna fight Mario Barrios. And they basically following that same roadmap that they did with Floyd Mayweather Jr., especially once he beat Oscar De La Hoya. He fought a bunch of Latino fighters with names, Robert Guerrero, Marcus Madonna. You know, that's the type of guys he fought. And they doing the same thing with Gervonta Tank Davis. As far as the matchup goes with Luis Nery and Brandon Figueroa, that's going to be a good fight. That fight doesn't have the cachet. It doesn't. It's not really been talked about this week. Pretty much hardly any type of promotion of this fight at all. But it's going to be a good fight, and it's got a chance to be the fight of the year of 2021. Now, right now, if boxing ended today, the fight of the year would be Estrada Chocolatito 2. That would probably be the fight of the year right now. But this fight here tonight has a chance to match that or exceed that. Luis Nery has been saying in the lead up to this fight that it's going to be a war. You think I'm going to get out here and box, which I can box, but I'm going to sit down, I'm going to punch it, I'm going toe-to-toe with him, I'm going to make it a war. I'm going to make this something people remember for years to come. So that should make for this a very interesting fight. You know, Figueroa got a lot of holes in his defense. He's a come-forward fighter. He don't mind eating some punches to close the gap and land his shots. And he's a very good body puncher. And he's a classic Latino come-forward type of fighter. A guy that eats a lot of punches, but he seems to wear guys down with his pressure and volume of punches. Now, he doesn't have like one-punch knockout power, but he has enough power to get your attention. And he's a guy that wears you down. It's just like chopping down a big oak tree. He's going to chop you down, work the body, chop it, work the body, work the body, work the body. And basically, when he get to the second half of the fight, you're going to be trying to protect the body. And that's when he's going to start landing head shots. And then he's going to be looking to stop you in the second half of the fight. And that's just pretty much the road map that he's going to put out there time and time again when he fights, man. There's no secret on how Brandon Figueroa is going to fight. He's going to come and bring the pressure, man. He's going to bring the heat. If you can't stand the heat, then you better get the hell out there kitchen, because he's going to definitely bring the heat. So it's going to be an interesting fight, man. UFC 262 going to be on tonight. I'm really going to watch the Brandon Figueroa Luis Nery fight. I pretty much don't know too many of the fighters on the UFC card, but my homies I'm going to chill with, they like UFC. So it's like, okay, let's go to sports bar where we know it's both going to be on TV screens and we both can watch, kind of sit back and drink and eat up on some wings. So it should be a good night and a fun night of combat sports. And I got some news on Deontay Wilder. Got some news on him. His arbitration ruling is going to happen. It's going to happen no later than Monday. So look for that ruling, the decision on the Tyson Fury, Deontay Wilder arbitration case. we should get a ruling by no later than Monday. So it could be today, it could be tomorrow. I doubt if it be tomorrow, but it could be today or maybe Monday, but no later than Monday. So we will see what happens, and we will see what transpires. But I'm watching a lot of YouTube channels are thinking like, oh, they're gonna rule and make Tyson Fury fight Deontay Wilder for the third time. That's not gonna happen. That judge can't force Tyson Fury to fight Deontay Wilder. That judge can't say, well, look, you gotta fight Wilder next, or we're gonna strip you of the WBC. They can't do that. I don't know people saying that could be the case, that they could rule like that. It don't work like that. It's an arbitration case. Arbitration case is basically about money. And what can happen is they can award Deontay Wilder a substantial amount of money, which could force Tyson Fury to say, man, I don't want to pay him, and then that's going to eat up my money in the AJ fight. So why don't I just go ahead and fight Wilder, get that third fight out of the way, and then after I beat Wilder, if I beat Wilder, then I'd fight Anthony Joshua at the end of the year. Now, that can happen, but as far as that judge in arbitration case ruling, hey, Wilder, you got to fight Fury next. If you don't fight Fury next, we're going to strip you of the WBC belt. But nah, they can't do that. It's all about the money. It's all about the money. That's why when you heard Bob Arum and Frank Warren say that you think the arbitration will stop Tyson Fury from Anthony Joshua from happening, they say, no, we don't think that's going to have any kind of effect, because it can't have no effect. It can have effect. Don't get me wrong. It can have effect as far as if they award, again, say they award Deontay Wilder $20 million. Say you got, you lost out on a $20 million payday for a Tyson Fury third fight. We're going to give you $20 million because you're missing out on that case. And say Tyson Fury is set to make $30 million to fight Anthony Joshua in Saudi Arabia, Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, the location of the Anthony Joshua versus Andy Ruiz 2 fight. Yeah, if you're gonna take $20 million or $30 million competition, I'm gonna make against Anthony Joshua, and I'm only gonna walk home away with $10 million, of course, hell no. Then then Tyson Fury probably say, no, I'm only gonna get $10 million. I have to pay Wilder basically $20 million out of my 30. Yeah, then Tyson Fury gonna say, well, shit, I might well go and fight Wilder, and I ain't got to pay him, anything. You know what I'm saying? I can just fight Wilder, and I can make, around $20 million for that fight. I don't think he would make as much as he can make in the Anthony Joshua fight fighting Deontay Wilder. I think he probably will make similar to what he made in the second fight. I think he probably made around about $14 million. I think that was what reported that Tyson Fury made in the second or the first fight, I think. First or the second fight. They both walked away with big money. Let's put it like that. They both made substantial money in first and second fight. But I think it was around about $14 million he made in that second fight, if I'm not mistaken. So he's set to make around $30 million in the Anthony Joshua fight. And like I said, if they award Wilder $20 million in damages, and that's what Tyson Fury have to pay, then he might not want to take the 20 out of his $30 million, which would give him a net gain of $10 million to fight Anthony Joshua. So he would probably then say, well, let's fight Deontay Wilder. I don't have to pay him anything. Fight him, and I can make around $20 million. He can make around $20 million. And if I get the win, then I can fight Anthony Joshua at the end of the year, and I probably could fight him for $75 million, at the end of the year. See, right now, people don't understand with that pandemic, that $150 million site fee is bogus. He ain't getting no $50 million, $150 million site fee in a pandemic, in the midst of a pandemic. So them numbers that ESPN knockout threw out a couple of weeks ago are bogus. That's not going to be the site fee. I guarantee you that. I can see it being $60 million. That's the site fee deal that they got in the Anthony Joshua versus Andy Ruiz 2 fight. And that was pre-pandemic. Now, we're in a pandemic now. Anthony Joshua and Tyson Fury is a bigger fight than Joshua versus Ruiz 2. So just adjust those numbers and say, okay, this is a bigger fight, but it's still in the midst of a pandemic. Let's just say it'll be a $60 million site fee for Anthony Joshua versus Tyson Fury to take place August of 14. And like I said, if that's the case, and let's just assume that if that's a $60 million site fee, Anthony Joshua gets $30 million, Tyson Fury gets $30 million, 50-50 deal. That was agreed to 4 months ago. And with that being the case, again, if Deontay Wilder is awarded $20 million in damages, that's going to leave Tyson Fury with only $10 million that he's making in a mega fight, in a fight for undisputed, in the first ever all-UK undisputed heavyweight battle. He might not be willing to take that type of money for that fight, so he might be willing to go on go back to the Deontay Wilder and give him his trilogy and make that fight happen. So that's what's on the line in this arbitration. To make a long story short, the arbitration is about money. If they award Wilder big money, the higher the money, the better his chances of forcing a Tyson Fury fight. If he get awarded maybe $5 million or something like that in the damages, then that's not going to stop Tyson Fury from going ahead and fighting Anthony Joshua. He'll give him that $5 million, and he still can get $25 million to fight Anthony Joshua in Saudi Arabia. So the bigger the money is, I think the $20 million will be the breaking point. I think if it's $20 million, I think that'll be a little bit too rich for Tyson Fury's blood, and I think then he will probably go in the direction of fighting Deontay Wilder for the third time. So we will see what happens, and we will see what transpires. But I'm about to get up and out of here, man. I'm in the parking lot, get ready to head to Ojos Locos, check out this UFC 262. I got some homeboys that love UFC. I'm more of a boxing fan. I'm finna go in here and watch this Luis Nery versus Brandon Figueroa fight. That fight probably not even taking place, probably an hour away. I think it started at 9 o'clock. So it's probably about an hour away, a little over an hour. I'm checking if I got my time right. I think that Showtime card start around 9 o'clock Eastern time. Well, if it's 9 o'clock Eastern time, it's probably about 20 minutes away. So we will see what happens, and we will see what transpires. But hit the like button if you like the content of this video, and subscribe to JB Sports, the man, the myth, the legend. I'll holla.